you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you're joining me from. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Accept my greeting according to your time zone. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You can be among the first to receive it. Then go to the comment section at all time. Leave your comment, drop your contribution. If you have suggestions, make it out there. If you have any criticism, put it down on the comment section. It will make us to get better, presenting you a better program.
Yeah, I was reading a headline. Obasanjo is saying that Igbophobia in Nigeria. They have never seen Nigeria. This is a guy who went to the east and shot people dead because they wanted Biafra. Obasanjo killed. He was one of the officers that obtained the surrender of Biafrans. They were asking for a nation. Obasanjo and others, Danjuma, Buhari, Babangida, they went to the east and killed people, Murtala, and killed people up to 3.5 million people. They did not even apologize for it. And some maybe 60 years later, you are saying that you suddenly found out that people hate Igbos. When you in army in Nigeria's uniform went and killed children, women, men, boys who are of Igbo extraction.
But the way you describe it is a bit more grievous and
what is grievous? What is more grievous than war?
No, it might not be exactly the way you're pointing it.
Yes.
There are war scenarios, civil war scenarios that happened. There was a strife.
No, what I'm saying is that this is part of history.
When you isolate individuals,
do you know why I brought I brought the Obasanjo thing out? Because I was reading that I was really livid that he suddenly found out that there's Igbophobia. When the Nigerian army carried out a pogrom, carried out massacre of Igbos, and because he wants to play on the intelligence and emotions of Igbos, he will be clapping for him. Oh, Obasanjo is now our human rights defender. Oh, see, he's fighting for Igbo. I have never seen anybody amongst Nigerians that probably killed more Igbos than Obasanjo. They killed people at the Civil War.
You don't have evidence to that.
What are you talking about? That you don't have evidence of soldiers killing people in Biafra?
But when you name someone as
Obasanjo was the third commando now. Yeah. He took over from Benjamin Adekunle. Go and read history. He wrote it even in his own books.
But
are you saying that they didn't kill people? No, they didn't kill Igbos during the Civil War?
I'm not rewriting history, but I'm saying pointing one individual and mentioning his name.
No, but it's not about mentioning. He has a title. He was a military man. He was in the military. They killed people. What do I need to tell you again? I'm just saying that Nigeria did not start falling apart because of this election. It has fallen apart. It has failed up to this.
Is there hope at all?
Well, if you want to restore hope, we have to fight for it. Yes.
Where is Peter Obi? Because most of the Nigerian youth I speak to and I interact with, they seem to be rooting for Peter Obi because they believe that he's probably there.
And they did vote for him in their numbers.
So they believe that Peter Obi should be the next president.
And I believe so too, because I've actually seen the data. So the result sheets, the hundreds of thousands of result sheets, which were not sent, even though they were supposed to be sent, and which we eventually got access to, it indicates very clearly that Peter Obi didn't just win the election. He actually won it in a landslide. However, the problem I don't want to say the problem, but the key difference between Peter Obi and Bola Tinubu is that Peter Obi is not a career politician. Peter Obi is a billionaire businessman who happens to go into politics. Had it been the roles were reversed, and it was Tinubu who was in a situation where he won an electoral landslide and then his mandate was stolen by the other candidates, what Tinubu would have done is something like what's that Kenyan candidate who lost the election? What's his name?
Raila Odinga.
Raila Odinga. Thank you very much. So what Raila Odinga did in I believe it was 2015 or 2016? No, it was 2015, where he was declared the what's his name? Uhuru Kenyatta was declared the winner of the election. Then Raila Odinga took his supporters to some stadium or whatever and got some judge to do like a mock swearing in and called himself the people's president. That kind of stunt, even though you could say it's treasonous, that's exactly the sort of thing Tinubu would have done if he was in Peter Obi's position. Because that's what a politician would do. If you know that the people are on your side, or you have a large enough number of people on your side, then you know that there are other cards you can play in addition to just going to court, because you know that the security agencies, for example, are not going to come after you because if they know that if they do, they can start a civil war. So you play that to your advantage. That's what an African politician would do. Well, Peter Obi is, as I said, is a businessman, he's not a politician. So because I've actually spoken to him since the announcement, and all he's concerned about is, well, gather evidence, go to courts, gather evidence, put our legal case together properly, blah, blah, blah. But the thing, I personally, I haven't told him this. I'm not part of his campaign team anyway. But what I personally believe is, when you're working in an African context, in addition to following the letter of the law, you always have to have a certain element of, you know what, I have the carrot, but I also have a stick. So if I'm doing things the right way, and you're determined to frustrate me, even though I'm trying to do things the right way, I have another thing in reserve, and I'm going to make sure that you can see it. I might not use it, but I'm going to make sure you can see it and see that they have the capacity to use it. And that might make you think twice about trying to frustrate me. I personally believe that Peter Obi should, ever since the supposed results were announced, he should have come out publicly and led maybe a couple of rallies or something. Just a show of force. Not a protest, not a riot, nothing like that, but just a rally. Just a show of force. Just so the authorities understand that this thing isn't going to be as easy as you think it is. It's not a matter of you just declare anyone you like to be the winner and then the person gets sworn in and that's the end of that. Now the youth are still here. They're still on the streets. They've not gone anywhere. And you're going to have to answer that question to them. That's what I think he should have done. But ultimately, obviously, I mean, he's the one running for president, not me. And I can only speak as an outsider. I mean, if I knew as much about politics as he does, probably I'll be the one who would have been running for president, not him. So, but we have to wait and see.
And this group was other than this group must rule Nasarawa State. So that's what happened. If you go to IRF, you will notice that in the accreditation for Chiroma and Gayam Ward, there are different figures for the House of Assembly and the governorship. But it's the same beaver that was used. How can you suddenly two elections announced? The one for the House of Assembly has different figures of accreditation, and the ones for the governorship. But it's the same accreditation, the same number of people that voted in the governorship election as those that voted in the House of Assembly election. But if you go to the IRF and you go to the back end and you see they are different from what was announced. This was simply brazen and criminal. Do your worst. That is why they were telling us. Who add the figures will announce it. Do your worst. So that so-called wide lead is not a. Look at what happened. What did the APC get in the presidential election? What was the votes of APC in the presidential election? For example, look at the gap between what they voted in the presidential election and what they got in the governorship. That is one. Number two, in this election, PDP defeated Sule in his local government, in Akwanga local government. We defeated him flatly. We defeated him in his ward. We defeated him in Akwanga zone, which is his own zone. Then we defeated him in Doma local government, in Obi local government. These are huge population centers. Then we defeated him in Karu. Where are they cooking those figures from? Very clearly, you will notice that this was the most brazen act of criminality I've seen in any election. That people suddenly just go and use 3-4 units and add to their figures and just announce. Those figures are simply fiction. They don't agree with the total accreditation for election in Latvia local government, in Gayam, in Chiroma. So that is what you are doing. It had nothing to do with the real votes cast by the people. If you want to do that, go to IRF. You will see the gap between what they declared and what actually took place in the election proper. And what happened in the presidential election, as you could see, was that there was this wave, of obedience of young people that we all took for granted. And we were thinking that Peter Obi was a joke. Where will he go? So both PDP and APC, we were thinking, no, this man, he doesn't have structures. He will not be able to do much and so on. So, but the people somehow, young people, seized the initiative from all the politicians. And for the first time, what we saw in Nasarawa, in several other places, in Edo, in Delta, where the vice president comes from, we saw that the young people were serious about what they were doing, and they took advantage of the social media, to project a program that has shaken the nation. For me, we lost in the presidential election. We lost truly. APC, which is the incumbent government, lost more woefully than we did. Who had the government, who have the party in the state, they all lost.